Relatives of those caught up in the South Korean ferry disaster are growing increasingly angry as details emerge of the sinking and the failed rescue operation. The confirmed number of deaths has now risen to 58 after divers managed to enter the submerged vessel for the first time. But 244 passengers, mainly children, are still listed as missing. Jane Dodge reports.
Bodies are being found, but too few and too slowly to reassure these relatives. They scuffled with police today as they tried to leave the island of Jindo and travel to the capital, Seoul, to protest. "Bring me the body so that I can see the face and hug my child," this mother screamed. Divers have finally been able to get into the hull of the Sewol. They've been using axes to break cabin windows.
The guiding routes for us to enter into the ferry have been established, so it is easier for us to search inside the ferry. We will have 563 divers on this concentrated search operation.
A recording of the ship's radio distress call released today shows there was confusion and indecision by the crew. The first contact was made at 8:55. 12 minutes later, the Sewol confirmed it was sinking. This is what happened next.
Are the people on board on the life rafts or lifeboats?
No, we're not yet. The ship is too tilted. We can't move.
At 9:17, the crew of the Sewol confirmed the ship has tilted more than 50 degrees.
Broadcast to the passengers that they wear life jackets.
It's impossible to broadcast now. If this ferry evacuates passengers, will you be able to rescue them?
At least make them wear a life ring and make them escape.
The authorities then told the ship it was up to the captain to make the final decision to evacuate. The crew confirmed people are trying to escape, but by then the Sewol was tilting at a 60-degree angle. Nam Yong-cheo managed to help some of his students get out. The 36-year-old teacher was last seen going back down below deck to help others.
Anyone who would take action like that during a time of emergency is an excellent teacher and is in the hearts of students. I respect him very much.
Another service in the same town of Ansan. A pastor's voice breaks as he tells how hand injuries on the body of a child showed how they'd tried to escape. With emotions running so high, politicians visit Jindo at their peril. The latest, the Minister for Oceans and Fisheries, got his hair pulled as he was jostled by relatives. The recovery operation is now running day and night, but that's proving little comfort for those impatient to be reunited with the children they've lost.
Well, earlier I spoke to the marine salvage expert, Captain John Noble, and I asked him what the transcripts of the ship's final movements tell us.
The ship went over just a little bit to start with in the first few minutes, but then relatively suddenly she took an angle of 50-60 degrees where she seemed to settle for a bit, then she went right over. Now, it tells me that there was an ingress of water pretty well immediately after whatever caused it, but the reason for the major inclination and major capsize, I suspect, was because water got onto the car deck. Because once you get water onto a big flat area on a ship, then you lose your stability very quickly, and then she goes over.
Because obviously this idea went around that perhaps the ship had turned too quickly and the cargo had all slid over to one side. That seems less likely now.
Well, I think that is less likely. Ships are designed to make hard turns when they're underway at sea, and they should not capsize as a result. Now, if the cargo shifted, it still wouldn't result, in my view, on such a big list so quickly.
Right, and in terms of the salvage operation now, do you understand why it's taking so long? It's very confusing from afar.
We're still, I think, at a recovery situation where they're trying as a priority to take bodies off the ship. Now, that's an extremely difficult operation, even for experienced salvage divers, For the young men who are being asked to do this, probably for the first time, to go onto a ship that's upside down in the water, it's very difficult and very frustrating for everybody, but I don't think it could have been done any quicker.
Just lastly, I mean, you're a captain. What's your instinctive reaction to the fact that the captain of this ship left it with so many people on board?
Well, I quite frankly think it was disgraceful behaviour. No master should abandon his ship in those circumstances whilst he is remaining in control.
Captain John Noble.